Well, hello everyone, I am Fracture, and this is Let's Play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. And I am using the Restored Content mod, which I have never played myself before, so we'll probably see some new things this time around. Little history about that. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, or KotOR2, in my opinion, isn't quite as good as the first game. It was certainly turning out that way, but then I think the marketing gomers got a hold of it and they released it before it was finished. So what happened is an excellent game has kind of a really rushed ending, unfortunately. Still, it got very good ratings, like in the 89 range, so even with the rushed ending, it did really well. What Restored Content mod has tried to do is volunteers have gone through the code, and there's a lot of game resources that were included with the discs but never used in the game, and they've tried to restore those. As far as I know, they didn't add any new content, they only restored what was available to them, but apparently that was some fairly significant areas, so we'll get to see those together. I have a bit of a sore throat, so I apologize in advance if I cough a bit, but let's get going. Coughing like that. I muted that one in time. Okay, so we have male and female options again. Physically, they don't make any difference. You have the same stats regardless. But there is kind of love interest opportunities in the game. So if you want to romance females, you have to choose a male character and vice versa. So we'll be choosing one of the male characters. I've been trying a few. It's been a long time since I played the game, but I've been trying a few of these. I think I am going to go with the Jedi Consular. It tends to be much more difficult at the start of the game because he's quite weak fighting with swords and guns. But I think I'm going to use that anyway because it tends to kind of reverse itself later in the game as you start getting your Jedi Force skills. And this guy is weighted heavily towards that, so let's go ahead and choose that. And we're going to choose a custom character. Start out, as always, with the portrait. I kind of like this guy. He looks pretty good on screen and everything like that. There's another character here I like. I think we just passed. Yeah, this guy's... I like the look of him too, but the graphics on his hair, he's got an afro, and it all was kind of twinkles. So, at least on my graphics card with the settings I'm using. So unfortunately we'll skip this guy. I think we'll choose this one. Attributes wise, I kind of go with what's recommended, but as I tend to just reload the game if I do really poorly in a battle, I don't really need to start out with the bonus constitution. So I'll get rid of that, and instead I'll take some bonus intelligence, which I think helps me more. So you're probably fairly familiar with these. These are quite standard. We have strength, which is modifiers to melee damage and chance to hit. So swords and lightsabers, that sort of thing. Dexterity, on the other hand, is good for blasters, and it's also good for defense. It's sort of an armor class thing. I mean, you're dodging better because you have a high dexterity. Constitution is your health. Intelligence and wisdom. Intelligence improves your regular skills, like hacking and that sort of thing. Hacking, excuse me. And wisdom is the same idea but for your force skills. Charisma, it changes how good some of your force skills are in terms of how much they can be resisted. If you have high charisma, they can't be resisted as much. And it also improves your companions. Your companions get a better chance to hit if you have a high charisma, I guess because you're a good leader or whatever the case may be. And it also affects what they say here, your persuade skill. Persuade in the game gives you additional conversation options, which I like. So a high charisma is nice. And 14's fine. You know, these starting values are pretty good. You can see I have a very low strength, which means my damage when I'm hitting people with a sword or whatever is going to be very low. But that's fine. Later in the game it all sort of evens out. You really can't do too badly here. So there we go. So skills, again, as we said, these are your basic stuff, which is recommended. And the way these work is the orange skills are my class skills. So for 1 point spent, I get 1 point improvement in the class skill. The cross-class skills, like computer use, isn't one of my class skills. I have to spend 2 points of my available points to get 1 point improvement here. You'll see a bit later, you can actually buy the ability to turn these into class skills, so it's really quite flexible. If you really desperately want, for example, security is a really good one for any character to have, or you end up doing what you're going to see in my LP. You have to keep switching to your rogue-like character to open doors and that sort of thing. It gets a little irritating, but it's not really that big of a deal, so I just go with no security. And feats. These are your, I can't remember, are these 4 skills? Or no, these are not 4 skills. These are just abilities like how well you fight and that sort of thing. So there's one more set of skills to do with force powers, but we're not going to see them yet, because at the start of the game we don't have any force powers. So you can see right at the start, since this is sort of the second in the series, we're starting with quite a few of the basic skills already assigned to us. We have proficiency in light armor, which you, as a Jedi, tend to not want to use armor at all, including light armor, because it cancels out some of your force skills. Critical strike, these are all sword fighting abilities. Then we have gunfighting abilities, pretty standard ones, and they're just variations on a theme. So for example, critical strike improves your chance to get a critical but reduces your chance to hit. Flurry gives you 1 more attack per round at a reduced chance to hit, that sort of thing. So just variations on a theme. And we actually start out with the ability to use all weapon types, including lightsaber. Jedi defense, I'll read those once the force powers pop up, or if they're on this screen, I'll show them to you. So yeah, so let's see, is there anything? Yeah, okay, so we can go over Jedi defense. Jedi sense, connection to the force that allows them to better sense incoming attacks. So basically it's a defense bonus that increases with levels and that sort of thing. As we choose these, I'll get into greater detail. For example, down here, where are they? I could put a point in this and get my security skill. For example, this is a class skill security. So this gives me the ability to spend 1 point and get 1 point. I'm going to use the, let's see, I'm trying to decide. I have several options. I can be a gunfighter at the start of the game, single weapon fighting, dual weapon fighting. Dual weapon can be 2 separate lightsabers or swords, or one of the, like the staffs they have, double-bladed lightsaber, or they have just metal staffs and things that use both hands. So you have a rather confusing naming convention here. We have 2 weapon fighting, and then down here we have dueling. And dueling is single weapon fighting, even though it's called dueling. It's like rapier fighting, so one-handed sword fighting. So I kind of have to decide now. Am I going to go 2 weapon? I think so. It just, a lot of the other characters aren't 2 weapon fighters, so it adds a little bit of variation to the fighting moves you'll see and that sort of thing. So I think I'll end up as a 2 weapon fighter. And let me just remove that and see what they recommend. Okay, so they're recommending single weapon fighting, but I'm gonna go and turn that off. I have to go down here to turn it off and give myself dual weapon fighting. And that's pretty much it. So now I choose a name. The random namer on here is pretty good, so I usually just choose a name that isn't too hard to say. Salak Forn, well, some of these are unpronounceable, especially with my sore throat here. Finsar, meh. Watch this take longer than the entire rest of the video. It's turning out that way. I'm not seeing any that I like. Dak Moors? Dak Moors sounds like a breakfast cereal. Gilad Baloo? Sure, yeah, alright. That sounds kind of science fiction-y enough too. Alright, so let's get started.
Primary power offline. Hyperdrive offline. Multiple hull breaches detected. Proximity alert. The Ebon Hawk is adrift in space after a terrible battle. Most of its crew are dead or dying. You lie in the medical room in critical condition. You won't survive long without medical attention. The hyperdrive is damaged. Main power must be restored in order to bring the engines online and dock with the nearby Paragas mining station for much-needed repairs. Your fate and that of the Ebon Hawk depend upon T3M4, a lone astromech droid. Return to this location at any time to skip the prologue.
Okay, and I think we will go through the prologue. It's actually a little bit on the lame side, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. I also hear we have the audio's a little bit too high, so I think I'll just take a moment to change the sound level. Let's see, voiceover, we'll go down. I don't want to go too low. I do like the audio in this game. And this reminds me to tell you something else as well. I'm keeping the music quite low. It's really good music. It's the standard Star Wars music, but I'm hoping that if I keep it low, I won't get any YouTube issues. I think the Star Wars guys that own that music, they're not big sticklers. I don't think you tend to get hit for Star Wars theme and that sort of thing. But I've turned it down just in case. Maybe it'll help. So, movie volume. The movies in this are a non-standard format, and Fraps doesn't record them. So I've disabled them. If I can, I'll put them in. I did put them in my other KotOR2 Let's Play. It's a bit of work, but I'll probably go to the trouble. We'll see. It depends how much time I have to compress these and upload them. So if there's no cutscene videos, you really don't miss out too much. So it's not a big deal, and they're pretty low quality videos. I haven't got the improved quality video add-on, so they're pretty grainy and nothing exciting. So anyway, enough of that. If you don't see them now, you know why.
UASD.
Yeah, okay. So one of the issues we tend to have with
press caps lock to toggle first person free look.
Yeah.
Hold control to look about.
Thank you. Shut up. So she shuts up. She's only in the prologue. I guess she's concerned I don't know how to read pop-ups or something. One of the issues we do have in the game is the voiceovers are really good. The voice acting is really good. Unfortunately, the aliens, the voice acting, of course, they're speaking alien speech. So I want to read it out in English so you understand what they're saying. It's on the bottom of the screen, but I'd read it out. Unfortunately, they tend to speak so loud that you won't hear me reading them out. I think what I'm going to do is just do it anyway, read them out, even if I kind of get drowned out by their speech. It's tough balancing being able to hear the non-alien speech, and you can't adjust them separately, so you'll see what I mean as we get into the game, but let's get started. So we're on the Ebon Hawk from KotOR2, same ship, and it's been heavily damaged. And
you have new quest. To view your quest, open this room contains the plasteel cylinder and the
found a way to... I can pause and unpause and it'll shut her up. I'm still finding the background sound is a little too loud, which is surprising considering how low I've got that set. Yeah, that sounds a little better. Okay, so we're basically trying to, by running through this tutorial, repair the ship and get me healed. I'm sitting in the med bay, so... And I'm not going to get into too much detail. That's very handy. I wish I knew that like 10 years ago. We're not going to get into too much detail about how to do this certain things. I'm assuming you've either watched KotOR2, my Let's Play, or you've played the game yourself, or what have you. So pretty much have to slice this system, so this tutorial showing me how to use the computers. And there we go, I've gone and hacked the computer and opened the door, so now I can get into this main holding area. This is interesting. I don't know if you can hear that in the audio, but you can hear somebody knocking here. And anybody familiar with KotOR2 knows who used to stand in there, so you probably know who's knocking. So I got a locker key.
This old woman appears to be dead. There is a key card on the body that looks like it opens a locker somewhere.
Alright. Now,
your security skill is too low to open this footlocker.
so we can bash. So the bashing mechanic in this game lets you open just about any locked container or door, with the downside that she's about to tell us here. It has the ability to break certain items in the container. Nothing that is required for the plot, of course. You'll never break a required item, but you do end up with stuff you don't want in your inventory, so.
Sometimes bash.
So she's just saying what I just said, so I just skip that. Oh, and look, there's one of those gonk droids. Repair parts, those things that just call parts, they're for repairing things. We'll see that shortly. And I'll come over here shortly. I know my way around in this tutorial, so I'm going to skip quite a bit of it. So where are we here? So again, skipping her speech, but basically that door's stuck closed until I find a way to... Boy, she's irritating. It's stuck closed until I find a way to open it. This lift will take us outside, and we'll go outside shortly. And
this is the medical room.
And guess who? And just handy enough, we have some med packs. So let's go ahead.
The med pack can stabilize your condition. Success. You are stabilized. To recover fully, you will require the medical facilities at the Paragus mining station, but you are not in any danger of dying from your wounds right now.
Alright, so step one. I've never left my character just sitting there without healing him. I can't see that they would kill you for doing that, but I've never tried it. Well, let's go ahead and head outside, since we're here. Oh, those damn Klingons! They've been mining too fast again. So I don't know the exact dates, but I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive this game came out long before the Star Wars prequels came out, where R2-D2 actually was riding around on the hull of one of the ships.
This is the starboard side of the Ebon Hawk. This open hatch has some parts that will be useful for getting main power restored.
So we're just collecting, as you can see, generic parts.
Some needed parts for the Ebon Hawk's hyperdrive. Take the parts here. These exposed wires control the door to the starboard dormitory. The door is currently sealed. Success.
So we opened a door inside the ship that doesn't give us too much, gives us a few more things to loot, but really you don't even need to do that.
Don't forget to explore the other. This is the bubbles ahead.
So this part of the tutorial is showing us the mine mechanic and how to disarm mines. You have two options. With mines, depending on your skill level, it takes less skill to disable a mine than it does to recover it. If you recover a mine, it ends up in your inventory and you can use it later. And of course, if you disable it, it just stops it from exploding when you step on it.
You can use the explosive device in this missile to blow open the engine room door inside the Ebon Hawk. This will give you access to the... You can use...
So now I'm pretty sure you can end the tutorial here because I can take that explosive, blow open the engine door, and repair the engines. But let's take a look at the rest of the ship. As kind of not too exciting as it is. So that's the other part of the bash.
This is the engine room.
Yes, I can see that. Some doors are too powerful to bash open. If this was bashable, I'd have that like attack icon here. But you can use mines. You can lay a mine right at the base of the door and blow it open. We'll be doing that shortly. Let's just skip that for now. Another low security door.
This is the cargo hold. Talking to other characters is much like using the computer console in the cockpit. Scroll through your response options or move the mouse cursor, and then click to select a response. Note that furthermore...
So one of the things she mentioned there that I just skipped over is actually quite important. Your discussions with your teammates actually have a pretty significant bearing on how the game pans out. You can have, it makes or breaks relationships. You can have them teach you new skills if you follow certain discussion paths, or refuse to do the same thing if they learn to dislike you and that sort of thing. One of the key ones, for example, is you have an opportunity for several love interests in the game, and of course if you choose one you miss out on the others and that sort of thing. So I don't know if I like that mechanic or not. I tend to be a little bit well, anal, and I want to do the right thing for all the characters and get all the possible discussion options, and you're basically trapping your way into one way of doing things or another, and that bugs me. I end up having to do multiple playthroughs just so I can see all the conversation trees and stuff. It takes a bit of a workout. Okay, so here we're showing the repair tutorial. Basically, as long as I have enough parts and I have the repair skill, I can fix broken things.
Success. You have fixed 3.
So here, for example, no, I don't want you to join me. That would reduce your influence with this character. So with this one, follow me if you wish, but if you slow me down, I'll jettison you. That's not going to improve your influence with them. Whereas this one where you kiss his butt here, his little tin butt. Yes, I would love if you would join me. Together we will fix the Ebon Hawk and save the universe.
You chose a response that 3CFD likes. If you continue to treat him nicely, it may open up new dialogue options when you talk to him again.
Now, I've always been curious...
3CFD is now...
Yeah, okay. I've always been curious if that's true in this limited tutorial, if you can butter him up enough to actually get some hidden dialogue options. That's certainly the case with the full game, but it doesn't seem to be enough time here.
Use the key card you found to open the locker.
Yeah. I just change characters there. So if I choose this container, I'm going to skip it. It releases some of those mini attack sphere things from the Star Wars movies, and you can practice your shooting. Can't be bothered.
The lock on this
Okay, I don't have the skill for that, so they're showing us the hacking probe mechanic. We got these security tunnelers.
If you encounter a
So still can't do it.
The lock on
But
this metal box
now I can.
is too difficult to open. You can use one of the security tunnels.
So there we go. So we got all that crap. I don't think there's an opportunity to use it in this tutorial, and I'm not even positive if I retain my inventory into the rest of the game, but anyway. So the next piece I need to find, yeah, these blast doors are closed. I think the other ones are too. I am looking for another low security. What do we have here? Okay, just the back door to the engine room and whatnot. Okay, so inner garage. I'm going to go solo mode here. They actually tell you how to do this in the tutorial, but of course I know. I'm going to head back here.
This is the main hold.
And close. So this is how we get... Again, this is how we do things where you need cooperation and that sort of thing. You go into solo mode and then you can handle each character separately. So by doing that, I got destroyed. inside an otherwise locked area. So, and you can see the damage done to the ship. There's gigantic holes in the ship here. Can't be good. And that's the exit to the ship. And this door would be closed, except when we were outside the ship we fiddled with those wiring. And I'm guessing that one of these footlockers is what we got a keycard for. That's my guess. If you remember the old lady. And I think this is sealed. Yeah.
This is the garage.
Thanks. The old lady had a key card, and I think that's... I think we just used it, I'm not sure. And then we have to reverse this. And those of you that saw a set of wires just before I went into those doors, that's no big deal. It was just, you can actually open the door from those wires if you want. There's no need to do that though. Okay, so I just laid a mine and he's going to sit on top of it. Alright, well, didn't do him any damage. And we're coming to the end of the tutorial.
Success. The hyperdrive is online. Primary power is restored. Only one step remains. Return to the galaxy map in the cockpit and travel to Paragus.
Hehe, she said cock. Alright. So that's pretty much it for the tutorial. She's still insistent on telling us where we're going.
This is the cockpit.
Wow, she really emphasizes that, doesn't she? Alright, so here we are. We're going to go to that blown up planet now. And that's pretty much the end of this video. So that's the tutorial. Things get better in a hurry. It's not all that sort of... she doesn't tell you every time you have to click a button for one thing, which is really nice. But that'll be next time. So, as always, thank you for watching. I thank you for listening. And I encourage you to leave comments, suggestions, or infantile abuse. I promise I read it all. And if you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel or give me the thumbs up. It really does help. And we'll see you in the next video. Cheers, folks. Have a good one.